Hi everyone, my name is Eve Anderson. I'm Director of Accessibility at Google. It's such a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much to ACB Radio for having me on. I just want to talk for a few minutes about accessibility at Google, some of the things that are going on right now. Accessibility is really core to what we do at Google. In fact, it's part of our mission statement, and it's foundational to our values as a company. Our CEO, Sundar Pichai, said, "Technology's great promise is to give everyone the same power to achieve their goals. As long as there are barriers for some, there's still work to be done." And that's so true. That's why personally I got into the field of accessibility, because I strongly believe that it's important to level the playing field for everyone. I'd like to tell you about a few product updates that we've launched recently at Google. One is on the Android phone. It's a new keyboard for typing Braille on Android, and it launched in April. What's cool about it is that it's directly integrated into Android, so you don't have to connect a separate hardware device. We worked with people who use Braille on a regular basis so that we could develop the feature in a way that feels natural to people. It uses the standard 6-key layout, and each key represents one of 6 Braille dots, and when they're tapped, you can make any letter or symbol. So, for example, if you want to type an A, you'd press dot 1, or if you want to type B, you'd press dots 1 and 2 together. So this keyboard can be used anywhere that you would normally type on your phone, and it allows you to delete letters and words, add lines, and submit text. I hope that you like it. We also, a few months ago, launched voice guidance in Google Maps. This launched in October, and it was created by a blind Google employee named Wakana Sugiyama, who works in our Tokyo office, along with some of her colleagues. What it does is it gives more detailed voice guidance and new types of verbal announcements for walking trips when you're using Google Maps. It proactively lets you know that you're on the correct route, the distance until your next turn, and the direction that you're walking in. As you approach a large intersection, it can even give you a heads up to cross with caution. Wakana said that it helps her to navigate the streets of Tokyo with more comfort and confidence, and it can help her explore new and unfamiliar places that she might not feel comfortable exploring otherwise. Another thing we launched also in October is Get Image Descriptions from Google. And this is a feature in Google Chrome that you can use if you decide to opt into it. For those of you who use screen readers, you know that the screen reader relies on whoever developed the web page to provide a description of the image. Otherwise, it reads something that's not very useful. Depending on the screen reader, it could be something like image or unlabeled graphic or just reading the file name, which sometimes doesn't make any sense. So what this does is it uses computer vision to try to identify objects and describe them. So for example, one description could be, appears to be person playing guitar on the sofa. So of course it's better if the person who developed the web page adds the image description. They know the context, they know why they included that image in the first place. That's why we've created a lot of automated testing tools to alert developers to that issue if they've forgotten to include labels for their images. But if they don't, this is a backup plan that you can use. One of our goals while testing it was to make sure that the images are not just correct, they're actually useful to people. So we hope that you find it to be useful. In the days of coronavirus that we're all experiencing right now, many of us are working from home, are being educated from home, and so we've also, in addition to creating these new features, we've been working on new content to help both learners and educators think of ideas for how to use technology to make the learning experience more accessible. To that end, we've written 2 posts on the Google blog to help. One is called Chromebook Accessibility Tools for Distance Learning, and the other one is called Accessibility Ideas for Distance Learning During COVID-19. I thought that it could also be useful to give you a little bit of insight into some of the processes that we've put into place at Google in addition to the product updates, because it's really these processes that keep accessibility going. You don't want to create something that's accessible and then have it backtrack. That's just really frustrating and it doesn't work well for anybody. We all know that it's important to incorporate accessibility from the beginning of the product development lifecycle. And we also know that accessibility is the job of everyone. We do have hundreds of people at Google whose full-time jobs are to work on accessibility. But we also know that it just has to be incorporated into everybody's job so that people are building the right thing from the beginning. So to that end, some of the things that we've done process-wise at the company, one of those is education. We make sure that all of the new hires who work in engineering and product management and user experience design or testing, that they go through accessibility training during their first 2 weeks on the job. And we have over a dozen other courses that people working on products at Google can take. Some of this we've released externally as well. For example, we have a course called Web Accessibility by Google, and we also have pretty extensive documentation on how to do accessible Android development. Accessibility is something that we need to have really broad awareness across the company. And while we have a constant drumbeat of internal announcements and activities, there's one really special week each year that we call Accessibility Week, where we have a lot of events across the world. And this last year, over 12,000 Google employees participated in events in 44 different offices, and our CEO was able to also kick off the week. So that was just really exciting to see an increasing level of participation every single year. We're also working on incorporating accessibility into standards. For example, the material design standard is one that is used by designers around the world to develop the look and feel and interaction patterns of web and mobile applications. And we have incorporated accessibility into that extensively throughout the entire design language. We're also really happy to be participating in various groups within W3C to further accessibility standards. We work on tools and frameworks that are used by both Google employees and by developers around the world. And the goal is to incorporate accessibility so that it becomes something natural for developers to do. So for example, we have Android testing tools and libraries that we've developed. We have a standalone app called Accessibility Scanner, which is available on Android. And that can be used by anyone who wants to test an app. You don't have to be an engineer to use it. We also have released testing libraries on iOS, and of course, accessibility checks built into Chrome. We have partnerships with many different organizations. ACB is a really important partner for us. We also really appreciate being able to work with the community. We have so many people who come in or remotely participate in user research, or our trusted testers who get early access to Google products and have provided so much really helpful feedback. We're grateful and we've learned so much and incorporated so much of what people have told us. We participate in many different conferences. 2020 is kind of a strange year, but last year, over 300 Google employees attended accessibility-focused conferences. We also have a disability support team that can provide support on any Google product to people with disabilities. It's a dedicated team that is focused on helping people with disabilities, and it's completely free. You can get help by email, by chat, by Be My Eyes is one of the most popular methods of getting support. And as soon as this coronavirus pandemic lets everybody get back to work, we'll be able to return to providing phone support. I'd also like to tell you a little bit about what we do to make Google a great place to work for people with disabilities. We believe that all employees deserve a level playing field. And from a practical standpoint, we know that having a diverse workforce leads to better products. For employees, we have a team dedicated to making sure that the internal software that we use to do our work is accessible. Of course, in addition to our own software, we procure third-party tools like JAWS or like Dragon Naturally Speaking for people. We have an accessibility service team that helps people select or configure software. In terms of office space, we have people who work on standards and on improving configurations to help our employees with disabilities. And we have people like sign language interpreters and personal assistants who help employees who need that. One of the things I'm proud of is that even though we're mostly working from home right now during this time of coronavirus, the people who provide these services for our Google employees are still doing so, just remotely. We also want to make sure that job candidates have a great experience, and we have a team called the Candidate Accommodations Team that helps make sure that interviews are done in an accessible way, and that if a candidate needs a different way of having the interview done, then we can accommodate that for them. And we've done that many, many times. We have an internal employee resource group called Disability Alliance that I'm part of, with over 2,000 members across the company. And this is a great forum for people to get support and to learn from each other. Well, I think I'm about out of time. So again, I just want to thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to talk with you. If you'd like to learn more, you can visit google.com/accessibility, and you can also get in touch with us there. Also, if you do want to be part of this user research, then we have a special link for you, which is g.co/user-research/join20. But if it's hard to remember that, then you can always just visit google.com/accessibility and you'll find it through the website. Thank you so much and have a great day, everyone.